20 years of Ukrainian Fashion Week, the only official pret-a-porter week in Ukraine. And today we are talking to Aleksandra Dymytrievitch, the head of International Department of Ukrainian Fashion Week, about its achievements and the most interesting projects. So we have this extraordinary installation here. Can you tell me a little more about it?
This installation is the thing we've represented Ukraine with at the International Fashion Showcase in London this February. International Fashion Showcase is the exhibition during London Fashion Week where they gather around 26 countries bringing the best emerging talents, and each country represents their own designers. So this is basically what Ukraine showed, the bus stop called Europe. We've been showing with the International Fashion Showcase for the second year, and all of the participating designers are the part of the Fashion DNA program with the British Council. This program is in collaboration with the Ukrainian Fashion Week and British Council, where each year we bring the mentors from the UK in the different, we believe that there's gaps in the education of Ukrainian designers, and we're trying to create this master classes where they have the opportunity to work on their branding or to work with the business plans or to establish their business strategy. This usually is the first stage, the educational one. The second stage is where a Ukrainian designer has to reproduce something and show it in public. That's how we've created vitrines around Kiev. We've also did a brand book and a huge installation in the airport Boryspil within all of this program.
How is Ukrainian fashion industry different from the one we have in the world?
It's different because it's still emerging, and what the foreign specialists mark usually that it's very special in its authenticity, because Ukrainian designers do not study creativity in the university like they do in London. So usually they have to search for their own inspiration and develop their own concepts, which can be very different from what you can see on the world catwalk shows. That's why everyone is looking into Ukraine as to see a next big designer with the world name. And also the second point, which is marked by all of the international professionals, is that Ukrainian designers are amazingly collaborative between each other. They do a very huge job if each of them needs help. So they participate in the shooting of lookbooks, they exchange contacts and models and everything.
How distinctive is Ukrainian fashion? Does it have any special trends or peculiarities that are world recognized?
I don't think we still have this authenticity built like in a very distinct way, but we're definitely in the mixture of very Slavic and European. That's why we can use special signs or prints, or the vision is very in between. So sometimes you can definitely distinguish a Ukrainian young designer. With all of the more established designers, it's harder because usually they're all about more femininity, and it's the same in every women's wear designer, like almost.
So it is 20th anniversary of Ukrainian Fashion Week. So what has been done? What has been achieved?
We've done a lot. Ukrainian Fashion Week is known for a huge number of different projects and basically building this industry here in the Ukraine, because before Ukrainian Fashion Week there were no fashion magazines or the proper pret-a-porter Fashion Week, and Ukrainian Fashion Week became a place that gathered all of the professionals, and it also built the industry around it. For the first few years of the Ukrainian Fashion Week existence, the main task was, after establishing the industry, is to put the Ukrainian designers on the map, and now we believe we've achieved it. So at this moment our goal is changed, and we all know that everything that comes to Ukrainian Fashion Week receives the world recognition and world name.
Please tell me about Odesa Holiday Fashion Week. What to expect this year?
This year we have a huge program. Each year it's bigger and bigger. We will have two important points. Designer Julia Pascal, that has been showing only during the Paris Fashion Week for quite a while, is now back in Ukraine, and she will be presenting her new collection within the Odesa Holiday Fashion Week. So that's an important point to see. And also We will have, as usual, the contest of the young designers, the national one. All of the big names in the Ukrainian fashion industry has come through this contest, and usually the designers, the established designers right now, are the judges in this whole contest, and they will be choosing the next future names in fashion.
What does Ukrainian Fashion Week do to help Ukrainian designers?
We have all of the stages for development of the young brands. So we have the different projects that helps the young designers to grow within and then land at the main catwalk. So basically, we're growing them. So the first they have to go through the selection process, and then the contest. Then they have the chance to show small collections. We're always helping and curating, and then while they're growing from year to year, at the end they can finally end up at the main catwalk of Ukrainian Fashion Week. We also do a lot of educational courses, and we always are happy to help if they want to travel abroad or they need any context. So Ukrainian Fashion Week is extremely helpful in everything in development. And since building the industry, we have also different projects they can showcase their creativity. They can go to fashion illustration contests and try out their illustrating moves. And they also can participate in the Fashion Move On and shoot a fashion film of the brand, and also win some prizes and develop themselves in this way as well. The roadmap is to study a bit more or to go through internship at the established brand. That will make things much more easier, because most of the designers, what they don't understand from the start, you don't have to have your own brand right away. You can wait and learn properly and gather your team and also build the business side of everything. It's very hard for them, for the youngest ones, because it's the only one person that has to do everything. So what we would usually advise is to do internships or do also something else while still developing your ideas, but to wait a bit until you launch your own brand, because it's very expensive and you really have to know a lot of business side of the business. The roadmap is to study a bit more or to go through internship at the established brand. That will make things much more easier, because most of the designers, what they don't understand from the start, you don't have to have your own brand right away. You can wait and learn properly and gather your team and also build the business side of everything. It's very hard for them, for the youngest ones, because it's the only one person that has to do everything. So what we would usually advise is to do internships or do also something else while still developing your ideas, but to wait a bit until you launch your own brand, because it's very expensive and you really have to know a lot of business side of the business. Ukrainian designers are always very open. Everyone are happy to have an intern, and even few of our designers are now teaching at the university, also learning the new talent to grow up. So it's very easy. You can simply write them, tell them what you can do or what would you like to knowledge that you would want to receive, and they're very open.
And tell me, please, do you think that Ukrainian government supports Ukrainian fashion designers enough? What should be done in this sphere?
Up until the moment, Ukrainian government is not supporting fashion as much, and it's not only with fashion, it's with all of the small businesses, so it's very hard for them to export or import due to taxation and everything. And only now situation is changing, and we have export promotion office who is doing all of this educational seminars on how you can do it easier or better, or listen to the problems designers are having with the export. So I believe it will really change the game in the future. What I would want to point out once again is that fashion is a main tool of visual diplomacy, and fashion designers can represent our country even better than any text written like in the article magazine, because it's being visual, fashion is understandable to everyone.